Okay, day 25 in the Larry Millete case. As expected, today the prosecution rested their case. They called two final witnesses, which I'm going to go through in this video. Now, normally, if you've not followed me before through one of these trials, normally when the prosecution rests, I do a recap. And this is 29 videos worth of shit we got to talk about. So it's going to be another video because I need the full 10 minutes. So I'm going to tell you about the last two witnesses, talk about what the defense anticipates for their defense and what next week looks like. And then I'm going to make a separate video that just basically soup to nuts gives you all like the Cliff's Notes versions of everything you've missed so far before we start the defense. So the prosecutor called their two final witnesses. One of them was Peter Villaver, who's been up on the stand before. He is from the district attorney's office, and he went through and he built this timeline of really significant things that happened between January 5th and January 9th. And remember, Maya went missing in the middle. And I'm gonna put up this photo. Now, again, this is a very short window. This is from January 5th to January 7th. So just a couple of things that he called out on the stand. And this is from Channel 7 News in San Diego. This is from their website. So Maya was determined to leave Larry and had already contacted divorce attorneys. Larry's messages to the spellcasters were getting more and more desperate. He talked about that very last moment that Maya was seen alive, which was January 7th, right around 4:45 p.m. She's seen going into the home. There is a sudden termination of both Maya and Larry's cell phone connectivity, so both of their phones went off. Maya's never came back on. Larry's was off for a full 12 hours, which is that 12-hour time period where Larry's whereabouts were unknown on January 8th, starting at about 6:45 in the morning until going into about 6:03 p.m. His phone was off the entire time. There were frantic efforts by his own family members. I was not really aware of this. I knew that Maya's family had been trying to reach her, but also Larry's family. It turns out, you can see at the very bottom, if you can read down there, that Larry's family had tried to contact him 25 times on just January 8th. So that day that he had his cell phone off at the beach with his 4-year-old for 12 hours, him turning off his phone and vanishing put his family into a tailspin. They tried 25 times to get a hold of him. And then Larry's return and the concerned messages from Maya's family that they couldn't reach her, but Larry didn't seem all that concerned. She must just be on a hike, wasn't in a real hurry to call the police, nothing like that. But also, Villaver told us that the final text message that was sent from Larry's phone was to his young daughters, and it was information about the family's financial portfolios. So I'm wondering, why do you send that message to your little girls before you vanish for 12 hours, turn off your phone? And I'm just wondering if this was supposed to be a murder-suicide type thing. I do not know that to be true. I'm guessing, but it seems really, really weird that you send the financial information to very little girls. These were young girls. The very last of the prosecution's witnesses is a guy named Justin Bostic. He's an investigator in the DA's office. He talked about all the social media attention that this got. So he talked about in 2022, he did a Google search. If you did a Google search for Maya Millete or missing Maya or some find Maya, those types of things, there were over 2.2 million results that came back to websites, news sites, social media posts, all different kinds of things that related to Maya's case. There was extensive coverage on Dateline, 48 Hours, Dr. Phil, Nancy Grace, Court TV, and then several stations in the San Diego area. He said that there were Facebook groups, there were volunteers searching for months, there were flyers, there were billboards. Everywhere you looked, it seemed like the whole world was looking for Maya. And the point being that despite of all of this, there had never been a confirmed sighting of Maya Millete after January 7th of 2021. And with that, the prosecution rested. Now, the defense is going to begin tomorrow, but the judge announced today that instead of them taking 5 days, they have informed the judge that they think it can just be 1 day. I read in one article that it was just one witness, but then I read someplace else that it was just 1 day. I don't know if there could be a couple of witnesses. At this point, to be honest with you, I'm not sure who they call for the defense. unless it's Larry, and I just really don't think Larry will take the stand in his own defense. And I really don't think anybody believes if he did that could be wrapped up in a day, because it wouldn't be. There's a lot of questions he would be asked. So I do not think it's him. Now, what I do think is probably his parents. Like, that's probably the only people left would be members of Larry's family who might take the stand in his defense. But that's all I can think of. And it's predicted that the defense will wrap up tomorrow, which is Wednesday. If that's the case, the judge will give the jury an extended weekend. So they'd be off Thursday, Friday, through the weekend, off Monday, and come back on Tuesday to hear closing arguments and begin deliberation. The judge said that there is probably 2 days worth of work that the attorneys all need to do in order to prepare all of the evidence. So there are more than 1,300 exhibits in this case that need to be cataloged into evidence and prepared for jury deliberation. So there will be work being done, but the jury would not come back until Tuesday to resume the trial. So in 25 days, roughly close to 60 witnesses, the prosecution has presented their case in the murder trial of Larry Millete. Please come back, because I will do a kind of what's usually a mid-trial recap, but I will kind of very quickly go through what we've learned so far to prepare us for the defense. So please come back and watch that video. And then maybe over the weekend, we'll answer some questions or do something, because 5 days is a really long time to go before this goes to the jury. We'll keep going. We're going to keep going until it's over, so please keep coming back.